and welcome back to the Midlands Outdoors channel, back with exploring the Black Country today. Here we are on the Wednesbury Loop, going to head all the way down, cover some cinematics, history and more. It's got a train going right away above. But yeah, the Bradley Branch Part 2, you may have seen the first video, but if you haven't, definitely go and check it out. And this canal down here, the Wednesbury Loop, joins up to where the Bradley Branch used to come all the way up by Weddell Wynd, I believe it is. So we'll journey all the way down there and we're going to show you some parts of the Lost Canal itself. But let's go and dive into some Black Country history. Let's go and explore a nice canal section. The Wednesbury Loop, sometimes known as the Bradley Arm, is a canal in the West Midlands, England. It is part of the Birmingham Canal Navigation's BCN and was originally part of the James Brindley's main line, but became a loop when Thomas Telford's improvements of the 1830s bypassed it by the construction of the Cosy Tunnel. The southeastern end of the loop was closed and in parts built over following the designation of the entire loop as abandoned in 1954, including the section which was filled in at the beginning of the 1960s to make way for the Glebefields estate in Tipton. So here we are on the Wednesbury Loop, heading all the way around to Weddell Wynd. I've never been there, but I've been to the back end of it from the Bradley branch. But it is a nice canal section and some parts are really clear. But the land onto some sections surrounding is all trees, little bits of field. You can imagine back in the old days, some parts of this canal edge was very industrialised. Look at the very old Ordnance Survey maps. We could just clearly see there was a lot of industry around it, including coal mines. On the maps it says Cappenfield Colliery disused and Deepfields Colliery, so there was a coal mine on that side and there was also a coal mine on this side. You can clearly tell this was a colliery because further to the back all the land's going like in steep hilly parts right away to the corner, and I could just see the ground is very dark like coaly. So imagine all this land stretched to the back here. They've had the main coal mine to where I'm pointing just right away there, and maybe even loading wharfs, who knows. So there could have been parts onto this canal section where it might have gone in. But look at the old Ordnance Survey maps, I am actually right. Onto some parts a little bit more further down, the canal used to go in for loading wharfs for the mines. We got one here saying pit number 1, PH by the side of it. And I think there might have been some inclines, but I can just see some dotted lines on the old Ordnance Survey maps. Not too sure what those are. And then further behind, I believe it was this one on the corner, used to be another colliery called Hop Yard Colliery, disused. So I've just noticed some very old metal sticking out the side of the wall. You would have had the one basin there, and just a little bit more further down, another basin would have gone right away in. I think just onto that right corner there. I don't specifically know if there was another basin serving this colliery right around to the corner, but looking back on the old Ordnance Survey maps, I think it was just for this one side what I was looking at. So it is very interesting to look back at the old Ordnance Survey maps and see the old coal mines or various industry that was down the canal. Because you could imagine back in the old days what this canal was really like. I have just spotted something else. It might be nothing, but there is something circular just in the gates here. So I have just noticed something round, just sticking right onto the corner. Not too sure what that is, it could just be a drain. But all the land stretching down, you can imagine all the old coal shafts right away to the back. So right, let's go and journey all the way down the Wednesbury Loop and let's go and see what the other canal section's like, all the way up to Weddell Wynd, where the canal becomes lost, up to the Bradley branch right around the corner. Wow, what a beautiful canal section heading all the way down. So much wildlife down here. I've noticed all the water birds onto the corners, swans down the bottom. But I've noticed on the journey heading further down where the gated off areas are, some old industry areas, and I've just noticed this right away to the back where it looks like another basin would have gone back in the very old days. So right, looking at the old Ordnance Survey maps, we can just see just right away above it says Wharf, Highfields Colliery disused. Used to go right away in onto this corner. If I zoom in to show you, you can just sort of see the basin used to go right away into where all them vans are and go a bit more further back that way where the coal mine was a little bit more closer to the road corner right away there. And just where I am behind me, where the tree line is and all the modern houses to the back, actually says old coal shafts and a very old infant school right away to the back. Just a little bit more further on to where them houses are, if I zoom in to show you, all that land there right away to the back was called Cappenfield Furnaces. It was a massive industry stretching all the way around that corner, and even above that, above the factory, used to be another coal pit and a rail line spanning all the way across with Cappenfield Ironworks just onto the other corner of there. But I must say it's really crazy to see how much things really change. All these new houses stretching right away to the back was the Cappenfield Ironworks, and the furnaces stretching all the way up the back this way. I can just see a little bit more further down the Wednesbury Loop some very old side walls, and where the canal becomes a little bit more narrow. So I can imagine even further down there would have been more industry. But it's really fascinating to see what was here compared till now. I love seeing what the canals used to be really like. But I don't think Weddell Wynd is actually that far. I think it's only a short distance right away down there now, and then the canal becomes lost going all the way across. I mean, it is crazy to think how much industry was down the canal. I mean, just a little bit more further down, all the new houses what have been thrown up, you can imagine back then, all this was industry stretching all the way down. And just by the side of me, it looks like it would have been a very old one once more. You can just see the factory over there, very old. If I zoom in to show you, wow, that has been there for many years, look at that. So it does mention here on the old Ordnance Survey maps, we've got Banks Bridge, what we passed just right away down the bottom. It says Bradley Iron, Steel and Tin Works, which was somewhere right around the corner. Even further down, I think it could have been on this side, was some more very old coal shafts stretching all the way across. And then it would loop all the way around, and that's actually where we're heading to next. I'll tell you what though, I really love seeing the old industry across the canal lines, because like I say, you don't see much of that anymore. A lot of the old factories have all vanished across canals. Where I come from, down Cosley, past the tunnel, used to be something called the Bean, and all that land there is actually derelict and all houses placed on there. I did see some photos of that, and it would have been sort of similar like this, big factories stretching all the way across the canal. Even like all the big industries, Round Oak Steel, many more just all vanishing. But what a lovely sight seeing the old industry right away there. So right, just a little bit more further down from that industry, we've got Glasshouse Bridge leading all the way across. That looks really old, that does, probably to the 1800s. And just by the side of me, looks like this would have gone in once more, another loading wharf. We can just see right away there where it goes like that and it goes like that onto that corner. So I believe this would have gone in to serve for whatever industry was right away around to here. And then just onto that corner there, you can just see the very old side walls going all the way across if I zoom in. Then leading all the way down the back end that way, as you can just see right away there. Wow, lovely view that was with the industry and the very old bridge. But you can just see by the side here once more, there's so much old stuff down this Wednesbury loop indicating very old industry. I mean, just by the side there, all the new houses what they're throwing up once more. So there could have been something really massive over there. Again, just a little bit more further on, another very old side wall stretching all the way across. I'll tell you what, it's gone absolutely cold today. It's gone freezing. I think we've got snow in the next couple of days, I believe. I don't know whether it's got a rain today, it's gone absolutely dark. And over that way doesn't look promising. So I do believe now the canal snakes even further around and it should be coming closer to Weddell Wynd. But as we journey further down, you can just see the canal becomes more narrower. We've got all the reeds which are taking over even more old side walls right away to the back. Just a little bit more further this way, we've got even more old bridges and some more back side walls right away over there. But wow, it's a really beautiful sight with all the wildlife down here. Imagine living in one of these houses where you've only got to walk out the door and just jump right around to the canal for a nice walk. You can even see further down there where all the reeds have taken over, where it becomes a little bit more narrower. Look how clear this canal is. If I zoom in, you can just literally see the bottom journeying all the way further down. But I tell you what, I do love this bridge coming all the way over. It's actually Pothouse Bridge. Leading all the way under, you can just see the canal right away here. All this plant was growing, choking the canal right away to the sides. Look how clear that is, and the colour of it is really cool. I'm possibly going to say this dates to the 1800s because you can see they've done repairs of it over many times with all the concrete underneath, all the very old brick right away above. So it looks like they supported it because it might have been collapsing. Wow, the wind's picking up. It's actually started raining. So just a little bit more further down, I did mention something about some very old side walls sticking right away up. If I carefully zoom in, there is a date on the side of that wall, but I can't see it unless you're over the other side. But you can see where something's been bricked in onto that corner, so I'm guessing the canal would have gone right away through there to another loading wharf, which was right away over there where all these modern houses are now, just onto that corner. I can just see the canal does go a little bit more further on, but I think we're coming closer to the place called Lower Bradley, just a little bit more this way. So I think this is actually where the canal now comes to an end, because just further down it's actually taking me to an off-path section leading away from the canal line, possibly Weddell Wynd. So I can't see the basin what goes right away to the back, but all I do know that it's right away behind here. Looking on Google Maps, you can just see it right away above. So where we're heading to now is a road right away to the back where we've got to cross over, and it will take us into Weddell Wynd where the canal is really lost there, then joins up to the Bradley branch right around the corner. So here we are onto Weddell Wynd where the canal is really lost here, where the Bradley locks goes all the way down the bottom just onto that end. But it's amazing to see, you know, looking back at the history, what was really here, all coal mines, various bits of industry. I mean, looking back at the old photo of the Weddell Wynd is really cool, as you can just see there what it used to look like. And pretty much all that's changed. You can see more houses have sprung up right away to the back down onto that corner. And then just over there, quite a lot of nature has taken back on the land with trees. Imagine there is a bit of an open land right away to the corner. But we can just see on the old Ordnance Survey maps, the canal used to go all the way around, somewhere this way. And then there was also another off section, what went right away in front to lead to the Bradley section right away there. But on the old Ordnance Survey maps you can just see the old coal shafts, coal mines, even got bits and pieces right away to the back over there. Like you've seen in my last video, you've got the Moorcroft part, you've even got some more collieries and loading wharfs down the Bradley locks. And just by where the Bradley branch comes all the way out, used to be something called Wednesbury Works, used to be a basin right away to the bottom, and then the canal used to loop around, then come back down this way to go to where we come from. In 1849, the Bradley Locks branch opened, connecting the loop with the Walsall Canal. It was one of a number of connected links made by the following amalgamation of the Wiley and Essington Canal and the Birmingham Canal navigations in 1840. After it was closed in 1961, most of it was simply covered up and became part of a linear park. The Birmingham Canal Navigation Society have suggested it is a possible candidate for restoration. Since most of the structures are still in situ, the only significant obstacle would be the Tup Street Bridge on the Wednesbury Loop, which crosses the canal immediately after the Canal and River Trust. The northern stretch, also sometimes known today as the Bradley Arm, not to be confused with the Bradley Branch or Bradley Locks Branch, remains navigable to the Canal and River Trust workshops built at Bradley in 1960. Next to the CRT workshops is the modern Bradley pumping station, which draws water from the flooded coal mines into the Wolverhampton level. But you won't really believe the canal went all the way down this way to meet to the Bradley Lock section. All the land which nature has taken all back onto it with all the trees, all the overgrowth in the distance. It's amazing to look back to see the canal really did go through this section to meet to that part in Weddell Wynd. But then it joins the Bradley Locks, which you covered in the last video. It's definitely worth going to watch that if you've not seen it. That's actually where the land from where we ended comes on right away in front. I'm going to go and explore Weddell Wynd and see what it's actually like. But it's been a nice journey coming all the way down the Wednesbury Loop, meeting to this section right away here. But let's go and explore the land and see what we can see. And there it is, that's actually Weddell Wynd, stretching all the way down. The land, what you can see right away in front, looks absolutely amazing. It's just a massive open field where it stretches to the further back housing estates all the way over there. But you can actually journey all the way down to the Bradley branch. If you head down there, cross the road, then you will come to the section what I was filming in the very last video for the Bradley branch. But what a journey, I've really enjoyed it, but the wind at the moment, wow, it is picking up. But a stunning sight. I might have to come back on the bus sometime and have a walk all the way around here. Then we'll head down to the Moorcroft Nature Reserve just by the Bradley branch. But wow, really cool. So thank you very much for watching Exploring the Black Country, and definitely go and check out the last video because there's a lot of interesting stuff into there. Show you the locks, show you the various bits and pieces going all the way up, meeting to this section. But see you soon, the Midlands Outdoors out.